and chill in this sweet wind tunnel I found.
Wind
Uh,
tunnel.
so to give everybody a brief recap, even though I've kind of just been talking about it for the last month, holy crap, it's been 4 weeks. Uh, we had a session, the last session, where there's a lot of fighting going on. We fought some golems 2 sessions ago, and then we got to a strange pressure plate golem laser beam fight that was honestly like just a blast of just like, all right, let's just figure out how we're gonna solve this. All right, cool, yeah, we did it. Uh, when we accomplished that, I'm calling it a minor success. We finally got through that door and found a one of the librarians who was very thankful for you guys because she'd been stuck in that room for like 20 minutes. It was crazy. And she really wanted to get out while it was still in lockdown 1 and before it got to lockdown 2. Uh, this was your first tick that something might be a little off because the lockdown had been for a couple days. And you're like, well, that's a weird timing, but all right, yeah, sure, whatever. Uh, she summoned up Guardian, the magical construct that the library uses to guide visitors and assist staff. And surprisingly, that magical construct, normally a stoic looking woman, was also a gyrating Sphinx S who was just kind of like floating through the model, rotating on 3 axes. Didn't really interrupt anything. It was just a weird thing that now there were 2 bodies there that were both acting as the guardian and helping out. And you asked to be shown to the security room to shut off the security lockdown. Along the way, you ran into Sio, a small Fey who had been locked in his storage locker for approximately 42 years worth of lockdown, and had been surviving off of snacks that he was almost out of. And he mentioned, hey, I kind of know how the lockdown works, so if you guys want to help me and get me a memory of my certainly dearly departed by now Sega Stone Eye, bring that memory back. I will be happy to help you with the lockdown. But otherwise, I'm kind of stuck here. And if I remember right, you guys left him just fantasizing about his lost love in a way that, like, I was actually pretty proud of you guys. Of like, we need to leave. Uh, 2 corridors later, you came to the security room, passing first by a series of wind tunnels that have a bunch of pages flying through them. It's just it's just a circuit of wind and pages. And then a second, longer hallway that you could see at the other end was definitely a large arcane sealed door. But the Guardian led you instead to a room here on the east side where there was a big pile of books and a book stand and a bunch of bookshelves that were empty and some sandstone tiles on the wall. And Guardian said in many more words than this, some of which were in the right order and tempo. Hey, yeah, I don't actually know how to turn this off, but here's the security room. So I know you need to find the Keystone book and then use the hints in the Keystone book to guide you to the solution to the security lock. Anyway, I'm here to help. And that was pretty much it. So we spent a good amount of time putzing around and reading a lot of books. There are many, many books to look at. I have lost my journal tab. There it is. Uh, that was just a fun aside. Oh, that's we learned. I have learned since then that if you read these things and you're not in dark mode, way easier. So
Oh,
I had to briefly turn off dark mode. I think it was Sav that pointed it out because the second I did, I was like, oh my gosh, this makes my life so much better.
how do they look different? Hold on. I'm in the
Because
new beta thing and I don't know how to turn off dark mode in it. Ah,
if you go
found
up
it.
to the three bar, yep. The difference is the text doesn't change colors when you go between dark and regular. And so I was trying to read black text on almost black background as opposed
Ooh.
to just reading black text on white background. And hey, that's doable.
Oh, weird. Mine isn't doing that. I was not having that problem in dark mode.
That's strange.
Oh,
Well, then I'll have to look at the stream one day and figure out what you're looking at.
I have mine set to
Uh,
pop up, so unfortunately the stream can't see.
well, then I am just scroodled. All right. Well, either way, I have found a way to read the books, which is great, and Sav found that, and that was helpful. So, what the heck was that? Uh, quick thing. Sav's mic is unbelievably busted.
I'm I'm trying to finagle with my headset, so
Yeah.
I do like
He did actually
foghorn.
mention. Yeah, that Sav. The first couple sounds that we heard were roughly like the sound that they invented for that one movie about going deeper into dreams. I forget the name of Inception.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
that first sound was just kind of that Inception. Blah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, that too. War of the Worlds. So the party fiddled around for a little bit and touch some buttons. X, I'm going to briefly just move you to a new scene so that you can take a look at the buttons, because honestly, I think the buttons are really cool.
Oh,
And
wow.
also, it's good to be able to take a look at this sort of thing. And relevant for you, if you right click on those buttons and go to the multi-sided option and hit choose side, you can change those buttons to be any of, I think, 8 different runes. So I just wanted to mention that so that you can play around as well. So we spent a little bit of time reading the books that are in the journal and messing around with the buttons, but didn't really make a lot of progress. We explored a little bit and tried to look for clues around the library as well. When we ended, I offered a few different ways to try and keep a little bit of life in the party, and one of those ways was, hey, just feel free to reach out, and we'll just have a side session. You can just poke around and see what happens. And I definitely got at least one person that said they were interested in that, and I definitely got at least one person that showed up. So that's neat.
mhm.
But relevant as a hey, here's what happened on the side sessions was Rayun actually found the Keystone book. And more than that, I have no problem admitting it was on his first guess.
Nice.
I am very proud of you, Sav.
That's amazing.
Uh, we just spent some time. He sat there and just asked Guardian questions for honestly like an hour. Time kind of flew after a little bit. And I was like doing side projects and homework and stuff. I was talking with Meg. It just so happened I started this thing with Sav, and then like 20 minutes later, Meg messaged me about the same thing. I was like, I can
I
I
do
can
both.
run 2 instances this. Sure. I got 2 halves to my brain. We'll see what happens. So, yeah. So Sav eventually picked the right book, set it on the book stand next to Guardian, and that caused some changes in the security room.
Let's hear it.
The books in the center of the room shifted around, but kind of just like they were at the first step. Like if you pulled the lawnmower cord the first time and it doesn't turn, like yeah, the engine turned a little, but it didn't put everything in the right place. But The bookshelves lit up, added some new cool phrases in arcane writing underneath each bookshelf, and also popped out some bookends. And those they're just like slabs of sandstone, like they popped right out of the walls. But they each look like they could hold an approximate number of books equal to the numbers that I have written there, because yeah, you guys can approximate books. That's fine. I'll give you that one. And I think that's where we ended up after rain session. And yes, X, you can also roll, and it'll set one to a random thing, because technically what you're looking at is dice that are like imprinted into the map. It's a very cool thing, and I'm trying to see what I can do with it. So I want to pick up roughly right where we left off with Rayun, which, thanks to some sweet time Sphinx magic, and not because I want to make everything work properly, it's going to be roughly as you guys all left the wind tunnel. And one thing that I want to ask is if everybody wouldn't just start the session off right with some perception checks.
Oof.
Well, that's not good.
Starting with
okay.
the high rolls.
Okay. Well. Okay, cool. There's two of you. I'm not going to bother texting. But Holden and Tyrus, you spot, especially because you were like the two that actually went into the wind tunnel. The pages that are in this wind tunnel, there aren't a ton of them. Like, we're talking, maybe a couple hundred. But I'm going to say that the two of you at some point, either while you're investigating that statue that was down there. By the way, that was another thing you spotted. Hey, there are statues that have names on them. So far, you have investigated 3 of the statues and found 3 names. While you are investigating that area, or while you're standing here thinking about what to do, you notice that you see the name Plenty, the name of the archipelago, on a decent number of those pages. Like a couple of them written in bolder font, like they would be chapter headings or whatnot, or just like there's a bit of a pattern here. Gosh dang it. The worst part is I have to give you that joke because that's literally where the name came from.
Well, if they're pages, grab them as they blow by.
I'll do that. I'll grab them as they blow by.
Okay. The nice thing about this being in a circuit-based wind tunnel is, honestly, if you're willing to stand here for 10 minutes and take a 10, you can probably just, like, catch most of these pages.
I'll do that.
So, as we go, or as you do that, and as you guys discuss what you're going to be doing, I'm going to go ahead and add these to one of the books in the journal. If I could find it, because there are a lot of them. I only regret this every once in a while, and one of those times is when I'm trying to search this frickin' list of books. Other than that, as I go, please feel free to let me know what you guys are in the mood to do. How do you want to handle the situation you're in?
So if we found the Keystone book, I think I'd like to join Rayun back in the library area.
Mhm.
And share with him the conversation that I had with the Guardian regarding. Let me go back to my notes. Regarding the. Hold on. I'm looking for the area in my notes. Okay. Regarding the energy that I see flowing through some of the books that have runes activated, and letting him know that the Guardian pointed me in the direction of a treatise on plenty hierarchy of Somer Mall, and see if any of that stands out to him based on the conversations that he was having with the Guardian.
Hey, conveniently, did that button work at all? Did anything
It
happen on your screen?
did.
Oh,
And
gosh,
now
it did.
I see the black. Okay, black on black.
Yeah, right.
Also, I fixed my mic.
Yay!
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Wow, you sound way better.
I know.
I can take you off like 40% volume.
And we don't hear foghorns anymore.
Wah.
Yep. No more blah.
Nope, that's the wrong campaign. Meg, you can certainly see this is the book where those pages belong. I have updated them on your behalf.
Did anything happen when I returned the pages to the book?
Nothing happened, except that now the pages are in the book.
Okay.
I'm going to go out and say so far as when you bring those pages back, the pages reinsert themselves in the book.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Did the rune glow or anything? There was no
Nah.
changes? Okay. Does anyone remember any books on Dold and Cosima? Guardian, are we to assume that we need to find 5 books relevant to the land blooms and place them on the shelf in order to unlock that part of the security features?
I'm going to be honest. Some of those words I couldn't understand. Would you mind asking that question again? I'll respond.
I was asking the Guardian if we need to find, for example, 5 books that would fall under the land blooms category to be placed on that shelf in order to trigger that part of the security area. Like, do we have to do that for each one? Find 5 books for tradition categorized under tradition beckons?
The combined images of Guardian give a bit of a shiver, and the human is the first to reform. When they do, the human responds with, "That is a reasonable assumption. I would be surprised if you were being given the question instead of the answer." The Sphinx also chimes in and says, "By our records, the Keystone Book should have most of the answers, or the questions, or..." And then just trails off.
Well, Sav, get in there. Keystone book.
All right.
Tell us what we're doing.
Yeah, it's on there. Let's see. Well, from what I gathered, the little indents, and I point, and Rayun points to the pedestal like on the top. The indicators, like they're like little crystal things. They're like crystal indents, I guess, and um, that's how I found this book because it depicted something of 5. So Guardian, can you find books related to the land blooms?
Almost as if she is furiously searching a Google Doc. Guardian takes a few seconds. Once again, sort of shimmers out and then shimmers back in before saying, "There is no reference to the land blooms in any of the books in the room."
Might the land blooms be referring to a rune instead? Do you know the names of the runes that are etched on the books?
The runes reference a language that our library has no way to decipher.
Yeah, I had asked the same question. That was like one of the first ones that I asked, and Guardian said no, does not understand.
Do I, by any chance, see any of that flowing energy from the books going in these directions? Like if I pick up a book and walk it around the room to each of the locations, do I get any kind of feedback? Do I have to pick up a specific book? Let's pick up Portents of Immortals by Gabriel.
What a good book. Let me check my notes real fast. Gosh, I'm so glad you guys can't see this answer key. And not because you guys would have the answers, but because you guys would look at that and go, I cannot believe this person is pretending to be God right now. So, when you, knock that over, you pick up the book and you start just kind of walking around. And realistically, you've probably moved these books around a few times just in the like throughout the bit of time that you were looking at the books, walking around and stuff. They don't tend to like react more or less in any given area. They're not like glowing more when they're in certain areas, or they're not magnetized to certain areas. Uh, I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna ask for a check from you specifically, because I want to. Gosh, I wish I knew how any of these skills worked. I'm never gonna stop complaining about that.
How about insight? Or investigation? I have a 1 in investigation, so I'd rather it not be that. Or perception. I feel like those might be relevant, although I don't know what you're going to have me.
I'm actually. Oh, right. You can control your sheet too.
Oh, did I move it while you were looking at stuff? Sorry, I was just
Yeah,
like, maybe I have a spell or something that can help me.
I'm gonna borrow this for just a second,
Go ahead,
and it's
go ahead.
just because I need to look at the list of skills so that I can remember what you can do.
Go ahead.
It's the worst. I wish I had a better handle on this in particular. It's not your best, but could you give me a history check?
With
It could be
only a
worse.
1, it could have been much worse.
I learned that if I hover over the spot where the number's going to be, it shows me the calculation so that I can get an idea of what your roll's going to be before it shows.
Nice.
Oh,
because I have the dice on. I'll turn the 3D
because you have the dice
off.
thing. No, it's fine. It's just every time I roll, I'm like, oh. I'm gonna DM you something real fast.
I do know this. That is true. Ooh.
What did you find?
Hold up. Uh, so Nazma's big import was flowers, right? So
Right.
mayhaps the books on Nazma are the ones that need to go in the land blooms.
I believe one of these books, if I remember correctly, was it? Maybe books by Lotharith? Historian Lotharith? If I remember my conversations with Guardian.
I feel like that question was somehow directed at me, but I'm not sure how.
I was trying to remember. One of the books that I was reading was from Nazma, but I can't remember what it was exactly. And I remember Lotharith, but it might not be related.
Let's ask Guardian. Guardian, can you tell us which of these books pertain to Nazma?
The only reference to Nazma in these books is in the book you held in your hand on a treatise of plenty hierarchy.
Because there are 5 islands, so if Nazma may represent one. Now I gotta find the book again. Hold on.
Guardian, are there any books in here that pertain to like a call to adventure, like a traditional fairy tale or historical book that pertains to tradition and a call to adventure?
There are several books that refer to old fairy tales or stories of adventure. I would need a bit more information on your inquiry.
As in, like the tales of a hero or something of that.
There are hero references in a few of the books in here, and many more refer to tales of adventure or the like. I find the term hero referenced in both the Heart of the Steppes and in Tiresias Milisas, though the latter is reference to a prophecy, not so much a hero's tale.
What was that? What was that last book called again?
Tiresias Milisas.
Tiresias Milisas.
What are X and Foob and John doing? Are you guys
I was actually
continuing
just about to ask
to
that, yeah.
investigate? You never came back from the wind room. Are you gonna go down this other hallway, or are you gonna come back into the room?
Yeah, let's give Mira and Rayun a bit of time to do some book learning. And what are the other three fine gentlemen in the mood for?
Good question. That's a great question.
I'm glad because two of us came to that question at the same time.
Didn't we hand over the pages to Meg?
Yep.
Yep, and I put them in the book.
Yep. You can find the contents of those books, Holden. I will say that you can read them at your leisure, going there or through other magical means. And you can find them in the book entitled A Treatise on Plenty Hierarchy. And yeah, I'm happy to move you guys into that room if you guys don't feel like exploring any.
I like exploring. I'll go explore.
That works for me.
Yeah, let's go find some statues.
Okay. Let me ask, I think as a general thing, rather than like having you guys move a square at a time, you guys can roughly see the shape of the map. Whereabouts are you looking for statues?
This way. Up here.
Okay. This place hasn't really been investigated just because we haven't really gone this way. Everybody got really excited about the security room. Reveal areas. This, it turns out, is actually just kind of a juncture.
Okay.
And I'm just going to assume, yep, that you're headed that way. At the end of this corridor, which is otherwise a pretty nondescript corridor, is a large stone door.
What's down this hallway?
I'll just reveal this whole thing. You guys poke your head through. It connects back to the hallway.
Whoa! Nice.
Right? But I like the world where you guys went all the way around and didn't find that connector.
And that's what happened. Is there any way for us to open this door? Can I attempt to open this door?
Give me a strength check, if you would. Unlike the previous doors, this isn't enchanted. Doesn't look like there's no magical runes or anything. It's just a big ol' thick stone door. Yeah, that's fine. This like it slides, but it slides slow in a way that maybe some of your fellow travelers maybe may judge you just a little bit. Okay, except Morithos has no room to judge. This room is mostly bare. Oh yeah, there we go. Steel Defender can help you. Glitch. I keep calling him Steel Defender because it's a good title. Glitch can help you, even if Morthos is like, nah, my nails, man. When you open the door, this room looks like it is mostly vacant and storage based. It's been hit really hard by whatever weird time thing's going on. There are a few bits of dilapidated wood and maybe a few scraps of parchment here and there. A couple piles maybe in one corner. But as far as like a large library worth of documents, not really. This place is pretty aged.
I guess I want to just investigate the area and see if I find anything
Sure.
of use.
Let's one. I'm just gonna like write your guys's or the list of skills down, but I see Holden pinging at a statue, so I'm going to translate that in my head as Holden wants to look at the statue, and meanwhile I'm going to have at least Tyrus and more of those if you want to join in on the searching. Just do just give me an investigation check. Or I'll say perception if you like it. I'll go either way. I don't care. Wonderful. So actually, well, now more of those. You're looking at that statue. We'll say the statue has fairly nice biceps, and sometimes it's just hard to look away from that. But for everybody else, there's some good information. Tyrus, those guys have the statue, right? Like, man, those biceps ain't got nothing on you. You maybe take a second glance at that pile of documents and find that actually those aren't anywhere near as aged as everything else in this room. And similarly to before, you see a lot of references to plenty on these documents.
Okay.
It's almost as
More
if
documents. Bring them more. Bring more.
yeah.
Oh, I'm not there. You would have to know to bring them.
Yeah, it's fine.
She's yelling down from the hallway.
I'll collect them.
If you find more stuff, bring it to us.
Let's see.
To us,
How
to us.
do I interact with this statue? What the heck? Give me that. Please?
Por favor.
Suddenly I am... Oh, because I'm trying to reveal fog instead of interact with a token. Awesome. Really proud of that one. Holden, while... While some of the other statues that you've seen have been fairly difficult to read, like the nameplates on them. In fact, the first time, even though it was a pretty simple name, you just couldn't really read the statue of the first one that you walked by. This time around, though, this statue is actually pretty clear, which is a stark contrast to the fact that everything else in this room looks like it's been through a few hundred years. You quickly pick up the name Hildur on the statue. Don't worry, Try. I was working on it. I just had to manipulate some tokens. Yeah. Hildur. But yeah, pretty much.
So we have two
I
of
have-
them?
You have two of them. Let's see. I'm gonna briefly read this. Oh, I'm gonna have to look at two more books. Let's see. So while I look for books, you've actually found a decent amount of stuff here in this room. Anything else? But otherwise, there really is not a lot in here. Like there isn't even timber or anything. So I'm going to ask two things in quick order. The first is, what's your guys' next move? If you guys like to continue to explore here or continue to explore other areas in the library. And second, I've seen a lot of tokens. Has anybody actually been interested in investigating the magic door? Seen a lot of tokens like kind of boop over in that area and then boop back to where they were.
There's another hallway down there I'd like to investigate.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's definitely not an in-game thing. That's just my shoulder popped really bad.
But I am going to first take back these papers back to the people who are investigating. And be like, here you go. Here's another pile of papers I found.
Fantastic.
Can I investigate the shelves?
Sure. Okay. Sorry, I have a few things queued up. In order of ease of me talking about them, Morthos, there's a big old pile of debris that blocks this hallway off. So there's nothing over there. Question from Mira. That means I have to actually read this book.
Nerds. Morthos, just have your arm eat it all.
Okay. Morthos, if you wouldn't mind giving me an athletics check, and you'll probably end up having to make a couple of them to see if you want to get into the room. Mira, to answer your question, and then I'll get to Rayun, Guardian gives a quick response to this one and says, following studies of importance for immortals, I believe that the barrier here is referencing deities that have been banished for either irrelevance or for their evil deeds.
Was Stellamar one of them?
The Sphinx takes over and says, Telemar is currently in good standing and has freedom to move between the realms, though our records show his relevance may be an issue soon. Morthos looks like he's going to be digging for a while. Rayun, is there something in particular that you're looking for? I can describe them to you, but I think I've described them to you at least once already. I don't know how much more detail I can get unless you point me in the right direction.
Just like the book stand, looking for more sigils and and the like.
Unlike the bookstand, these bookshelves are just solid slabs of sandstone. Ooh, that was fun to say. The bookends themselves are just blocks of sandstone that have jutted out from the sandstone walls. This looks like, I mean, honestly, if they were a little bit bigger, you would say that a prisoner was going to lay on them in a prison. Okay, I think I caught up on questions. I love it. Hit me. What do you got? Holden, I see that you are in the hallway. What are you up to? Oh, and while you answer probably by text, I'm going to update a
My
treatise on
pages.
plenty hierarchy.
Yay! I was just going to ask what happened to my pages.
One interesting thing I probably should have put there is that it was very clear that that segment was not the end of the book. And now you should have the rest of it.
Hooray!
I'm going to update the flavor text too.
I would like to take scriptures of truth and put it over on the shelf for Tradition Beckons. See if that does anything.
Okay, I'm going to process that in just a second when I finish typing this thing for Holden. Actually, I don't need to type it. I'm just going to say it. You've been able to see this from, like, you could see it as you were walking by even. It is a very well-sealed magical door, glowing brightly with arcane runes. You were able to see it from so far away because, frankly, it was glowing so bright. And it does look fairly similar to the door that you were previously blocked by on the pressure plate room. But feel free if you would like to investigate. That being said, poor Morthos is now he's digging with his spear. I'm going to process Rayun's request, then Morthos, then we're going to go back to Holden for a sec, especially while Holden types. This is all going to work out beautifully. Rayun, which book were you planning on placing where?
The Vera book, Scriptures of Truth, on the shelf for Tradition Beckons.
This is a fun one. You attempt to place. I've already forgotten the name of the book again.
Veristic?
Gosh
Right?
dang, there's so many books. Oh, there it is. Veractic, yeah, Scriptures of Truth. You attempt to place that book on the Tradition Beckons bookshelf, and it immediately, with great force, flies back into the pile.
Okay, wrong book.
Morthos, I promised you next. Look, if you're into it, you could dig with that spear, and I'll give you that. Yeah, you could start to chip away at some rubble. It's going to take you a few more successful checks, but okay. You could see, like, hey, maybe there's a little bit of empty space past this debris. And yeah, sure, I could see why you can. I could see why you would think that. So sure, go ahead and spit acid on it. Next, while you guys process some of the information that I've given you in the last 30 seconds, now I'm just spraying information. It's awesome. Holden, I'm actually going to drag you away for a second, if you don't mind, joining me, even if it's just to listen, in spoiler space.
Now I'm trying to figure out.
Meg, get out of here. You're not a spoiler. Oh, I guess you might need to be like the translator. Yeah, that's fair. Okay, you can be the stream, but this is a spoiler space, so look away. Or something, I don't know. So I will do my best to require as little verbal stuff as necessary. Holden, if you need to talk, feel free to type it. Just maybe whisper it to me so that we don't get conversations all crossed up. First, give me an Arcana check. Okay. Not amazing, but that's actually a really terrible roll. But you've seen a lot of locks like this. In fact, you had just recently seen one. It does look like it's locked by the same lockdown as before. This is your first opportunity to really get a good look at them, though, because previously you were kind of looking at them from far away, even in the pressure plate area. You do see that a lot of the runes that are used in here are used on the books. Like, they are used multiple times, and especially with that roll, but also maybe just in general, it doesn't look like there's any sort of pattern to them so much as you're just like, oh, hey, I recognize that one. However, after a couple seconds of looking at the runes, and maybe you trace one or two of them with your fingers, and if you're really adventurous, you give one of them a hearty sniff. A voice pops into your head, and it starts as just a really bass, throaty chuckle. And maybe like 2 or 3 seconds after that first chuckle, you only hear that voice so far as to say, "This is my favorite part, watching them squirm in their inadequacy." You know what? No. You have never heard this voice before in your life. Holden, when you ask, almost immediately the voice responds to you. Simple mortal. I am the jailer. I am the keeper. I am the watcher. And I am the one. I could. Counterproductive. I was the one who locked it. There is a flash of anger when you ask this, as the voice, because she would not listen. Because she needed to learn her lesson. And I might give just a little bit more conversation before I go back to the rest. When you ask, once again, a bit of anger that takes a second to get back under control. Because she had a duty. She had responsibilities. We all have responsibilities, charges from the gods on high. But she had her own views. She insisted, following her own path. And look what it has gotten her. Trapped in a cage. All right. If you don't mind, I am going to head back for just a sec. I may just like flag you to head back to spoiler space, and we'll continue some conversation here in a minute. But I will say, when you ask that, he will give that same bass chuckle again and say, no. Wish as she might. Then I'm gonna head back to game nights. Oh, good. The stream missed the part where I just forgot the word chests.
Yes. Sorry.
There are a few storage. I was trying to say storage facilities, and that wasn't working for me. But there are a few chests and boxes and containers in here. It looks like they were maybe holding things. And the short version is they're not locked. It looks like they were being protected by sandstone golems that have definitely decayed into dust, which is all over this room. But inside, you find a hearty supply of coins, about 350 gold, and one large sapphire that definitely has something interesting going on.
Ha! Didn't find anything. I'm not entirely sure what's happening here. Put that in
That's
my
also
pocket and walk away.
Yep. I pick it up and put it in my pocket.
Sorry, guys. Waste of time. Don't mind me. So is it going? Kind of like shit?
Sorry, say again?
Is it like doing stuff?
And it is doing cool stuff. It is secreting a thick, dark blue liquid.
Ooh. Well, I'm gonna take this to the Guardian.
Okay. Well, I will resolve this real fast, and then I will get back to books. The Guardian, as soon as the Guardian sees the gem, that was confiscated during a recent security incident. 67 years, 3 months, 19 days ago. Its exact purpose is currently unknown to the library. I believe research was underway by the previous librarian, who is now deceased. We would recommend keeping it in some sort of container, for the liquid is mildly acidic.
Does anyone have a container?
Your arm's a container.
Hold on. I have a water skin. I have I feel like I should have a container.
Why not just eat it with your arm?
How much is secreting from the gem?
Ooh, can I wrap it in my weird black molten flesh that I took off of one of the creatures that we fought?
Actually, that's a pretty creative solution. Oh, yeah, sure, absolutely.
Fabulous.
We'll treat it like a weird leather pouch.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. And, actually, much like most leather pouches that secrete a thick liquid, not too much, Sav. Just like a few drops every couple minutes.
Okay, because my thought was that it was just continuously secreting.
It is
creating
just
creating like a huge pool.
It is not creating a huge pool. We're talking like condensation levels of secretions. Also, nobody laughed at my testicle joke, and I'm really sad about it.
Well, now I'm gonna laugh at it. Ha.
Oh, it inspired my inventory.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah. Yeah. So, took care of Morthos. Now we have a couple of people put on books in places, and so I'm going to look at my notes studiously.
Yes.
Gosh dang it.
So I have gone through A Newcomer's Guide to Plenty, and I believe, I don't know how they represent, maybe it has something to do with the statues, and the statues are of people that come from these different areas, but I believe that the Land Blooms is Nosma, Tradition Beckons is Relum, Mysteries Lure is Evencall, Echoes Sing is Porta Maria. Somehow, I don't actually know how that one is. I have not finished identifying that yet. But Satir is the Law that binds. The Law binds. I
Okay.
think.
Let's see. So Rayun said Echoes. Gosh dang, this I really should have rewritten this to be a little cleaner. And Mira said, wow, that was neat. Okay, well, as it turns out, Sav, once again, you place this book, Songs of the Bard of the Belfry, into the Echoes Sing bookshelf, and it is rejected as if it has decided it no longer wants to be a part of this book shelf. Like, absolutely not. How dare you? Please put me back in my pile. No thanks. I'll do it myself. Mira, your book stays where it is.
Because it's a Relum book. Okay. All right. So we need to look through the books. We need to find reference to the specific locations. And they need to go in those shelves. That's what those shelves mean. Although I still can't find how Echoes Sing ties to Porta Maria, but that's the 5th place, so it's gotta be.
So that one was Porta Maria. Okay. So we have Echoes Sing filled out?
No, we have one book in Tradition Beckons.
Okay.
I'm assuming the two of you guys are furiously going to be digging into books.
Yep.
Can I ask from the rest of the crowd, Tyrus, what are you up to? And then if you are not up to anything in particular, I may duck back to Holden for a minute.
I want to check out this hallway.
All right, I'm going to be honest. You're going to be disappointed.
Isn't it a loop?
It is a loop.
Better be a loop.
It's a loop.
Heck yeah.
So that takes you virtually no time at all. Is there anything else that you would like to do after walking this loop?
I'll hang out over here.
Okay. This is not like just relating to Holden. So at this point, we're just gonna have two different groups, and more people are gonna be in the spoiler room than not. I'm gonna head down to spoiler chat and ask Foob and try to show up.
And your ears will be off.
Don't want you guys because the channel was moving.
Whoops.
Oh no, it's my fault. So you, Foob, arrive, and honestly, it kind of seems like you're interrupting something, as you see that Holden is just kind of talking, like mildly in the direction of the door, but just kind of talking.
Interesting.
You maybe catch the tail end, and you definitely hear the very last couple words where a very deep bass voice says, probably just to Holden, but you can hear it now too. But perhaps she wishes she was.
Cool.
I
don't know what to say to that.
There is a little bit here of try having to type, so he's like specifically DMing me instead of just typing in general chat so everybody can see it. but you are now just kind of in this conversation, I guess.
I'm just gonna stand here and not engage and just kind of like, I don't know what I just walked into, and I don't want to fuck anything up, so I'm just gonna be here.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. Fourth dimensional god. That's what I got from Holden.
And Holden, after the voice maybe asks or says that to himself, there's a bit of a pause, and now, especially with Tyrus also in the area, he says, "And what of you, mortals? Why have you come here?"
Why have we come here? I forgot.
That's like the
captured in error.
I feel like this is like not the first time in the course of like a couple days in game time where you've been like, "Why are we here?"
I feel like at this point I'm just along for the ride.
That's fair. I will fill in that the reason you were here was to get information on Telemar, hopefully to find out things that would be useful for the recipe for your culinarian's dish.
I'm gonna like ask Holden, be like, "Hey, do you think it's worth bringing up the name of the person we're looking for, or should we not bring that name up at all?"
1 sec.
Here, try for your sake. We can just create a Discord chat of the three of us. So that you don't have to talk a bunch or type to a bunch of people or have me translate or something.
That's fair.
I'm really trying to respect the fact that the dude's got a real sore
Absolutely.
throat, and also
Yeah.
is going to be running raid here in a little bit. Why is this not? Are we not friends? That doesn't seem right.
Probably not.
We're not friends. I sent you a friend request real fast. Accept that right now.
You put me on the spot. You make me use a feature I don't use that often.
There we go. Now you have a group chat with just the two of us, so you can feel free to type here instead of anywhere else. And I believe the question was, should we wrap him in on this?
Yeah, should we even like mention the name of the person we're looking for to this fourth dimensional being? Or should we just be like Nanya? Because I assume
Okay.
he can hear everything we're saying anyways. So
He absolutely can.
like as vague as possible seems like the thing. Then yeah, let's just name drop. Like, yeah, we're here to, Telemar's here and what of it?
He hears you out, and as you finish, he's oh, sweet mortals. There are no truly powerful gods. Just very large children playing in too large of a playground. But your dear Telemar surely enjoys his run of the playground himself.
Definitely wouldn't call him my dear Telemar. More like a nuisance to this plane.
I'm gonna wait for Try to finish typing, and then I'll figure out how to
Sure.
respond to that and him. I don't care, man. I'll like figure out smoke signals. I'll start typing in pings on Morse code if need be. Like, however I need to communicate with people, let's do it. And in the meantime, not distract too much. But did you get to hear those songs? Because dang. That question was directed at you, Foop.
Oh yeah, I listened earlier. They're pretty good. Sorry.
Man, I know. I'm eagerly watching the Tribrid is typing, but also there is just like silence, and I feel as the GM and the like presenter, I'm supposed to try and fill those silences a little bit. All right, I've got Try's response, and Foob, I'm sorry, I have mildly forgotten your response.
I'm just gonna like gesture at Holden and be like, yeah, what he said,
Got it.
because that sounds probably better.
Feel free to chime in. Sorry, there's just a little bit of delay. We're doing our best.
That's fine.
But he, you hear him say that he's I do not watch over them myself, but I watch over their belongings, their flocks, whatever may come to me. I am a servant, as are we all mortals. But I have supped with them. I have watched them rise and fall, and I suspect I will continue to do so. You, I suspect, are in the timeline of Telemar's fury. And suddenly, the pieces are falling into place.
Do you know how that timeline ends?
Unfortunately for you, mortal, that timeline can go many different directions. Many of them unpleasant. Try will slot that question in roughly as I finish that sentence. If there was a face that you two were talking to, you would be able to feel it snap its gaze on you. Like the breathing that isn't actually in the room becomes heavier, and you can feel that rage from before. And he's know her. Oh, I know her. And if you do, well, this creates a problem. Because she's not supposed to escape from this cell. But she clearly does. Or else you would not have met her. My dear, sweet daughter.
Called it.
He called
Totally.
it. He did.
I remember when you were like you guys first walked into the library and you try were like, oh gosh, dang it, Andromeda, and I was like, oh, it's so close. I'm gonna let this one ride though. With your guys' blessings, I'm gonna jump back to the other group for a second. You can feel free to stay here. You can feel free to join us and listen in on what's going on over there. I'm good either way. And I will come back to you guys in a few minutes.
I'm gonna hop back.
All right. Hi, everyone.
Yay, you're back.
I hear
Hello.
this stuff is going on,
Hey,
and I would like to be here to disappoint you. And what am I doing? Let's see. Mira picks up the Houses of in Coda and places it on the tradition beckon shelves, and almost immediately the book rejects itself and reality, returning to the sweet, blissful comfort of the pile. As it does, it jostles the bookshelf, or not the bookshelf, the book stand, and the book, like the runes flicker for just a second. When it does, Guardian, both heads kind of look surprised for just a moment, and what is happening? And Guardian responds with, "Please be careful with the books that you are returning. The Keystone book should guide you to the locations that the books should be returned."
Okay,
Guardian.
Guardian, you need to tell us how to read it then, because this doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, I take the book, the First Circles book, and I just kind of like slowly wave it around the books just to see where it goes, or if anything happens.
When you remove it from the book stand, the book ends retreat back into the walls, and the words disappear temporarily. You almost feel a bit of loneliness of like, man, that book was in its home. It wants to go to its home.
Yeah.
Man, that Happy Gilmore references are really dated. As soon as I started that, I was like, I should just not keep going with this.
Hmm. And do any of the books like react as I move that book around, or no?
It does not appear so. It looks like the big reaction is that book and the book stand.
Okay, I'll put it back on the book stand.
There is a brief pause after the book returns to its book stand, and Guardian takes a second to glance over at the statue and says, "If I may suggest, this statue appears to have something to do with this mystery as well."
Are there any books pertaining to Hilder?
Is it like a dig? Is there a pressure plate we need to move the statue to?
So she does her previous flickering and says, "Oh, okay. Ooh, my notes were wrong. That was terrifying." Guardian does her usual flicker before snapping to actually pretty close to attention. It's almost like the Sphinx side is sitting upright even. Before saying there are two references to Hildur. The first is in the first circle, which you have found, the Maiden of Visions, and the other reference is in the book entitled Tiresias Hildur. I believe Tiresias Hildur is reference to prophecy regarding the tale of Majal's tale.
Hmm. I wish we could talk to the books.
Guardian actually responds to that. Says, I believe we all do.
Thank you, Guardian. I needed that. If I take Tiresias Hildur over to the statue of Hildur, does it react in any way?
Yes, it does.
Oh,
As you get close, the book, like mildly magnetically, snaps to right in front of the statue. Uh, while you think on that and read over this book a couple times, at this point, actually, Sav, I'm just going to ask you to go to spoiler space for a minute, and I will call you back in a minute because it's easier than me sending everyone else there.
yeah.
So have fun. I will get back to you in just a minute.
Okay.
Over at the door.
So we're talking to a fourth dimensional being, and it's Andromeda's dad.
So as the two of you arrive around the door space, you see at this point Holden and Tyrus, who are both kind of just talking to space. And you know what? Much like last time, you will arrive just in time to hear a few deep, bassy words. This time, what the words you pick up are, "My dear daughter."
So, why did you exactly imprison her again?
Because she had a job to do, and she refused. Children in that stage must learn where their place is.
And what exactly was the job?
She was to take over, watch over great hordes of wealth and knowledge. But she was not content to sit idle and wait. She insisted on going into the world, learning for herself. We have all of the wisdom of the ages at our disposal. And she insists on sharing mortal experiences. We sup with gods. What good is it to watch over the ants that come crawling to us for riches? Forgive me. Present company excluded. Is that how you spell that? Shoot. It seems as though I have won. But how can that be? This is asynchronous.
I wouldn't count us out just yet.
Your companion came to my door and attacked it. I suspect that when the puzzlers resort to physical aggression, they have all but given up. Holden, as you ask that, she is not to be trapped here forever. By my estimates. Well, my intention was merely a century. If she was so insistent on learning, gaining experiences around mortals, I would place her with mortals, in a place of learning. But it seems she's not content with that.
Wait, is she the monster that's in this building scaring everybody and eating everything? Or aren't you worried that she might be eaten by this thing?
Oh, you poor thing. No, I suspect, as I look around this timeline, the thing that you are looking for, the anomaly, is just my daughter, and the enchantments that I placed when I built this prison. I will jam in your questions. This seems like a good place for a try. Perhaps there is some value in properly introducing myself. For we are born above trial and error. Oh gosh, no! I'm sorry. Didn't mean it. Okay, I think I didn't break anything. I was on the map layer and not the GM layer. Sorry. I accidentally shift the whole world.
Get off that layer. Don't be there.
A bit of magic begins to coalesce around the lot of you, and you get some intuition that maybe you should take a few steps backwards. As if I was going to move you a few steps backwards and you really didn't get a say in it. Before materializing in the room is a very large and very aged Sphinx. He towers over the lot of you, and though his fur is gray, you can tell he is still well within his prime. He says, I am Nimbus, Lord Guardian of the deity's troves. I can't tell if Holden's question is a joke or not. And same with Mira.
I mean, I'll smack a bitch. Let's do it.
He's got a health bar.
And if he's just gonna stand here and be a dick and get in the way and let his daughter freak out in this area and trash the place, we came here to deal with the monster. And the monster happens to be our friend who is in prison right now, so I feel like letting her destroy all of the written history is probably a bad idea.
I will Google that. Nimbus does not flinch as he sees Mira maybe taking an aggressive stance, and let's be real, Morthos being born in an aggressive stance. Oh gosh, did I accidentally make a Rick and Morty reference?
Maybe.
You know what? You have inspired me on the fly to just change this guy's name, because I refuse.
And to be fair, I'm around the corner, so he wouldn't see me rolling initiative. Although he is an all-knowing creature, so that seems right.
Yeah. He now introduces himself as Sirius.
He's super serious. Okay.
I have
Holden's
never watched
gonna
an
make him
episode
an
of Rick and Morty in my life, and so that naming convention, much like Andromeda's, was completely removed of any reference matter at all, and was just happy coincidence. But he does recognize Mira's and probably Morthos' aggressive stances. But he will at least hear Holden out. So I'm going to wait for him to finish typing, because, it's polite. Gosh, I'm really mad at myself. But I can't just, name every character and then Google them to see if they have been the subject of any cartoons that I don't watch. There are a lot of cartoons out there. You know what? While I'm reading this, I'm going to be right back.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Head on. Apply directly to the forehead.
And to preserve his voice. No, X, get back there. I'm going to be right back. Would you mind joining me back in game nights? It's, at the very least, you have heard a very large arcane sound coming from down the hallway.
I will join you up there.
Almost as if you see a token suddenly appear out of nowhere.
I did notice that as I was looking through books.
Yeah. So I'll see you over there.
Yep. See you over.
We're back.
Maybe it was just following the GM,
Yes.
and I respect that.
So it makes me click multiple times to do things, so.
Oh, no problem. Okay, so Holden, let's see.
I would like to make him an offer. You are a god with at least one problem. I am a mortal who specializes in fixing problems. If you let us pass when next we meet, and you need my help, I will grant it. Humbly and without rubbing anyone's nose in anything.
What an interesting proposition, especially with the way it was voiced. I like it when you do your try impression. That's really funny. It seems as if you have come here because you need something. And I'm even willing to gather you were not here to rescue my daughter. Interesting happenstance. I would prefer my daughter be left alone. And I'm curious what you would be willing to offer in exchange for her clemency.
A favor, Chit. Duh. He did not say that.
He did say there are no coincidences.
Once again, I'm politely waiting for him to finish because it's amusing that the guy that's doing the talking is the guy that can't talk right now.
What could a god want from me?
What I want. What I want. What a pleasant concept. Truth be told, not one asked often of my kind. We are duty bound. We guard. We protect. But we do not desire. But there is some amount of instinct in seeing my daughter taken care of. Somehow, I suspect that leaving her in the hands of mortals would not do well in persuading her not to investigate the affairs of mortals overdoing her duty. Unless you have a suggestion for that.
If she spends some time with us and gets her fill, perhaps that will satiate her curiosity, and she'll never wonder again.
I'm willing to follow this timeline. Perhaps it works. Perhaps it doesn't.
Time will tell.
Time is so regularly fractured and mended in ways you mortals cannot even see. I'm curious if you have the strength to break those bones and set them properly. And you're right. I could just end you all now. But that is not in our nature. It is not in our calling. We are not murderers. We are guardians. Mm. Very well, mortals. Draw your steel, weave your spells. Let's see what you're made of. Let's take a quick 5-minute break, and at 7:50, I'm going to ask you guys to roll some initiatives.
Woo.
I'm gonna spit his face.
I've moved over and wondering what the hell this thing is.
You're like,
You've got to
I
be
was
kidding
gone
me.
for 5 minutes and you guys picked a fight?
I'm like, I'm reading through books, and all I hear is.
Y'all, I need to stress, this is the third combat encounter we've had in a row where I have rolled a critical one for initiative.
Yes.
Great.
I'm not fudging this number. I would love for one of my
Oh my god.
monsters to ever be able to fight. I worked so hard on this and the other monsters and have not gotten to use any of them. What the heck? Okay. Here we go. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, well, let's put everybody in an order that doesn't particularly matter up here on the top. And we'll just put Sirius on the bottom.
Holden
And-
had a 2 for his initiative, so he can go first.
I have always been a big fan of you guys are allowed to order it however you like. If you guys are tied, I'm not gonna fight it. So
If you don't mind, then I'll go first and pop him with Fairy Fire. Is that cool with you, X?
Do it.
Then boom! Fairy Fire!
Verify!
Back here so it doesn't hit any of my friendlies.
if you wouldn't mind linking that, because I always forget.
Yep.
And while you do, I baked a fresh batch of chocolate chip blondies today,
Yum.
and I'm very pleased with how
Jealous.
that went. Oh man.
So he's got to make a dex saving throw.
In the background, you just hear, light 'em up, light 'em up. Verify!
Yes, I like this. Oh, and he needed a 14.
Yeah.
Sucker, you
Okay.
are now outlined
he
in
is-
purple.
He's lit up.
Oh, yeah.
Morothos, what are you gonna do with that?
You're going to have advantage is what you're going to have.
I know I've got a symbol for
And I'm going to
that.
tuck myself back here around the corner again so he can't make
Yeah.
direct eye contact with
Let's
me.
go with that one. Gosh, that symbol is so dumb and small.
Just trying to make sure that
And it looks oddly... Never mind.
Look, when you zoom in, you can clearly see it as a person that is outlined in light.
Okay.
That is definitely what it is.
Farther away, that's
HR.
not what it looked like.
What do you got for me, Morthos?
I didn't really enjoy the way he was speaking to us, so I'm gonna fire. We're bringing out the big guns right away.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Was I muted?
are. No,
you
sorry,
did get
John,
quiet for a little bit.
John
but
was
I think
muted, and I was whispering to him because he made a funny, but I think the moment passed, and he won't say it again.
Yeah.
But it was pretty good.
Okay. We're gonna roll that again, and we'll see what happens. Nope, that's not where I do that. That's where I do that. Hey,
Oh,
all right.
Fireball.
So there is a big explosion. For the sake of artistry, even though you are clearly targeting at the back so that nobody gets hit, also, I mean, he just it clips him on the wing and he kind of bats it away, which is not exactly what you'd expect from deck saves, but here's where we're at. And he takes.
Takes half the damage.
Yeah, I can't remember if it's rounded up or rounded down. I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt right now and just say rounded up. So it's rounded down. So then I have to do math. Gosh dang it. There we go. We did it.
Go us.
No, see, I knew that there was a 13. I had to subtract 13 from his health total, and that is math that I am bad at. Little embarrassing, but at least I acknowledge my faults. Tyrus, you're the only 18 we've got.
I'm the A team. Get it?
Yeah, let's go with that.
I'm gonna fire my rifle at him because it seems to work from the past.
Oh yeah, you've got advantage, huh?
Yep. I assume that hits. Hopefully.
I think the NyQuil's hitting try. A 21?
I mean, that was a pretty good joke.
It was.
He's being very saucy. You guys can't hear it, but I like it.
Is he loopy from the drugs?
He's just loopy from the day.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. That, you know what, Tyrus, that is actually a pretty phenomenal shot. But it is not enough to make any sort of dent in him at all.
Oh,
He like it's some mix of he dodges to the side and was already dodging when you started firing. Like he maybe knew what was coming
let's
and decided
again,
against
then.
it.
because
Okay.
I have 2 attacks.
Sure do.
How does that hit?
Nice.
Because if that doesn't hit, I'm just gonna run away.
Guys, I swear. Okay. Roll your damage.
Whoop.
Do I roll extra damage? I forget how extra damage works.
I think that's that second
crit.
7 there.
Oh, good point. Okay,
So you rolled a 2d10 plus 3 and got a total of 14.
nice. Not bad.
I think that's about average.
I did the
says-
same as a dodged fireball.
He says not knowing anything about math, but okay.
And I'll just like move here. And then call it.
So first things first, Tyrus, I want you to narrate this one a little bit. I haven't asked for a narration for a crit in a little bit, but I think this one's actually important.
Okay.
So you saw him just like not even matrix dodging because he dodged preemptively for the first bullet.
I fire the first time, and I clearly miss because he's can see in the future or something like that. So my second fire, I just instinctually fire where I think he might be, and I just aim and shoot, and he happens to end up there, and I hit him.
I like it. The old American military strategy. You can't predict the enemy's movements if they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I like to think it was a spark of help from our Sphinx's daughter friend,
Nice.
but who knows? I don't.
Okay. I'll take that. So your critical hit, right? The thing that's normally like, oh, that sword made contact with head, connects enough that you've drawn blood on somewhere on a forelimb, as evidenced by the fact that you guys can see his health bar still. Even if I'm assuming you guys can't see the number.
That's correct.
We
Yeah.
can.
I'm
So
assuming it's somewhere up in the hundreds of digits.
there are 3 digits there. But where the fireball was like, yeah, okay, there's an explosion, whatever. The bullet hits you, or hits him, and the face of bewilderment and rage that you see, this was not supposed to happen. And it hurts.
He wasn't even supposed to be here today.
That's actually also kind of true.
That is some of the story we got earlier, so yeah.
You come
I'm,
on the day of my daughter's wedding.
I'm going to politely remove Steel Defender from the initiative and just move us to the combined Rayun Holden phase.
Whoa, whoa.
Okay. Let's close those notifications. Okay. I'm going to turn off my notifications because it just so happens they keep popping up exactly where I'm trying to read.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's not your fault at all. It's just that's where Microsoft has decided that I need to see stuff. I want to check. The 14 definitely misses. The 23 does connect. And you don't get narration. He's actually still kind of dumbfounded and mad about the first shot, so much as the second one connects and he doesn't even react. And I react only insofar as I have to do math.
Betty's gonna wish he had taken the favor now.
Oh, yep. I will say, sorry to ask a complicated question of you, but I've got what looks like 3 complex actions and a bonus action, and I'm trying to make heads or tails of that because we've got the glitch action to take advanced dodge, 2 attacks, which I'm assuming is you have 1 fighter action that lets you fire twice or something to that effect, which would make sense. Yeah, and then the bonus action for the spell. And I feel like there's one too many things there, but I'm not sure.
Action for attack with extra attack.
Yep.
Bonus action for hex.
Yep.
If glitch is given no order, he just stays where he is and uses the dodge action by default.
That's good to know. Okay, thank you. All right, I appreciate that. Okay, we're good. I just needed to. I saw a huge list of things. Like I need to at least parse this. Rayun, you're up.
Rayun moves up and begins his attack on Sirius with his longsword. 22.
Well, you sure would think that would hit. But even in his particularly irritated state, he knows enough to, oh, right, I should avoid things, even if it hasn't been going particularly well. Where you swing, he has already decided he no longer wants to be.
Ooh. Fun. Well, I will stay in defense mode and hold the line.
What the heck? Okay. Weird. Well. Hey, I finally get to do something, and that feels nice.
Yay!
Hooray. I mean, oh no.
Yeah.
I feel like it's against me, and I'm real scared.
Yeah. So first, he opens up with, to the best of his abilities, spreading his wings as wide as he can. And as he does, you hear his voice like supernaturally projected to the group more than the area. As he says, you will need to do better than that to win my favor. And he brings his wings crashing forward in a tremendous gust of wind. I dare say a stiff breeze. If I could have everybody make strength saves.
Even though I'm behind the wall?
I'll give you that. Except for you, Mira, because you are clearly taking cover from the wind.
Can I get advantage since I am bracing against a wall?
I'll give you that, yes. I will always accept a good argument like that. So far, it's looking like everybody is about to take some damage and get knocked prone.
Can I do acrobatics instead of?
Why?
I can parkour off the wall if I.
Parkour!
Parkour.
I'm going to say the parkours have it. Go for it.
Parkour.
This is one of those, like, that's maybe a little bit much, but also parkour. It looks like everyone. I think I got everybody's rolls. And Mira's not around. Yeah, so I'm gonna have everybody take 7. Okay, I can roll damage rolls when they're pyramid dice. Everybody's gonna take 7 and get knocked prone, except for Mira, who took shelter.
How many feet back?
You are not being moved back. You're just being knocked down.
Oh.
Although I like that idea. I should have added that of like, oh, and you get knocked 20 feet back. Good job, guys. Proud of you both. He then quickly reads up on Fairy Fire, see if he's supposed to make a spell save now or on your turn. Or if he just stays that way. He might just stay that way. Before Bamfing just flat out.
And he moves out of my range?
Yes. But both because you are knocked down and because he isn't moving, he is teleporting. I don't think he's going to trigger any attacks of opportunity.
Gosh dang it. I
know. I'm gonna delete the purple circle. Sorry. He arrives, and Tyrus, he is just staring at you before bringing down a pair of claws. Like, he glares, then rears up and comes down, paws first.
He's gonna miss.
I will need to know your TN.
16. Never mind. He hits me a lot.
Oh my gosh. He did not miss.
At all.
Okay.
Well, I might be dead, guys.
Oh,
nice knowing you. Just know that just remember me as the guy who pissed off a god.
Let's see.
35 damage.
That is 35 damage.
I am at -1.
All right. He both paws have come down, and yeah, there's some claw in there because that's the name of the attack. But it's honestly, you're just kind of pinned down by this. And in his sort of rage, we'll go with, he flat out shouts at you, "You will not take her from me!"
I'm pretty sure I'm passed out. Like, completely knocked unconscious.
Yeah, sort of. We're going to go to Morthos, because you don't have to make a roll yet. Morthos and Mira.
Query. If I move to here, does he get an attack of opportunity?
Yes.
Well, I cannot take a hit like that, so I think I'm going to have to give it to him.
I think there is a movement you can take that is a complex action where you do not provoke attack of opportunities.
I'm trying to decide if I want to do that or Thunder Wave because I have to be close for that.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you heard that. That was my cat asking for dinner.
Aw.
Let's do that. I'm gonna Thunder Wave.
Okay. Wow, that's convenient because he is a 15-foot cube. Constitution save. That's this one.
No.
Well, he's gonna take some damage. But he isn't. Hey, he isn't gonna get knocked over, and that's kind of a shame. Feel free to roll your damage. All right. Hey, you know what? It's something.
All right.
Don't discount these little chips in damage.
And
That
then
red bar is going to go down eventually.
I guess he's gonna get an attack of opportunity, but I want to hide myself back here.
Okay. Well, we are going to do that.
Good luck.
I have a lot of healing soup, so
That's true. Oh, he doesn't just do 10 damage. I cheated. I'm going to keep that damage roll, though.
okay.
For, let's
I
be
can
real,
take-
when this hits.
I can take 10 damage.
So 21.
Okay. I'll take 10.
And his second one. And by the way, this is the only attack of opportunity because you can only react once. So, and then the 24 for 9. So 19 damage, hey? That's not bad.
I'll take it.
I dare say Tyrus might have been able to take that one.
I think I could have.
Also, I mean, that's 9 damage on 4d10. Those rolls were terrible. Good for you. Dang. All right. So Morthos, you just watched Mira actually have her life flash before her eyes, and that's just not a good roll. That is a rough roll. That is. Oh man, you're rolling as bad as I am.
I don't know. You're rolling pretty well.
Yeah, I rolled well in like one instance. That happens to affect you. I'll give you that. You can definitely spit in his general direction.
I speak in your general direction.
He time dodges out of the spit zone.
This tickles me. I like it.
Mira moved. Morthos went. Tyrus, if you wouldn't mind making a death save.
You can
Now
do
I have to
it.
remember how death saves work, but I think that's a good one.
Anything? I think it's like 11 and above.
I think it is, yeah. It's just like a 50-50 shot.
Yeah.
That
Well, that's one success.
is a success. Yeah. If you get 3 succeeds or before you get 3 failures, then you are just stabilized.
I just want to say I have another character in my pocket that'd be really cool for this campaign if you kill him off.
I just want to say I think it's bullcrap that I rolled 3 death saves on Zaz, and you've already succeeded on your first one.
Well, that's not fair. You should kill me off.
Okay.
I mean, you do you.
Hold
dear.
it. Suddenly you're on a timer. because I got the go-ahead.
He's got the green light.
If Cirrus in your campaign would kill off a character, then that's exactly what he should do.
Okay. Oh, also, Morthos, I'm sorry. Would you mind rolling your attacks one more time? Because you had advantage on all of them.
Oh, you make fun of me some more? Is that what
I
we
mean,
do?
look. I want you to succeed.
Ugh.
That's a lot better, but, you know, that's
Ugh.
actually equally better. Look, I'm just trying to help. I am here to make sure you have a good time. Glitches, unfortunately, not particularly effective, but I got to give credit where credit's due. Those 2 crossbow shots both sink in. I like looking at the rolls, and I can't deny that dry rolls hot.
Hey,
So-
hey Zell.
Yo.
I just remembered you knocked us all prone.
Yes, I did.
And then
Doesn't
they
that
got
make
up
us-
again because you never gonna
Wait,
keep.
do we get up?
Well, you certainly don't.
Well, I didn't, but like, did I guess
Uh,
I'm just making sure. It's like, can we get up in a turn and attack still?
Getting up costs half your movement. So realistically, I think the only thing that changes is Mira, you would end up being like somewhere around here.
No,
You
because
just wouldn't be able
I
to get-
wasn't prone.
Oh, you weren't knocked down. You're right.
Yep.
You're the only one that
I
wasn't.
wasn't
Yeah.
knocked down, and I'm the
Okay.
only one that moved.
Yeah, so you're good, and you are correct, Foob, that it does cost, but the cost is half your movement to get back up.
Okay, just wanted to make sure because I didn't want to be like, oh, we totally ignored the disadvantage from being
Nope.
prone.
I respect that very much. This has definitely not been stalling so that I don't have to do math. Oh, this is my math sound. Whew. Oh, that was rough.
If
Okay.
it makes us feel any better, he's taken 85 damage so far.
I mean, that both does and does not. So, try a pair of crossbow bolts have found themselves into Sirius's hide. He is definitely just abnormally focused and angry at Tyrus. Like the whole room can see it. Morthos, you felt safe standing there because he wasn't going to attack you. He was going to attack Tyrus. We know that. He's going to eat Tyrus. Great. So it's not terribly surprising. He doesn't bamf out of the way. He doesn't time manipulate those shots. You are not in melee range. Sorry, I just saw that. And so it's not terribly surprising that those shots hit. Yep. I'm gonna wait. Yep. I'm gonna wait for this real quick, and then I will continue. Oh, that's unfortunate because that makes me want to go for a twofer. Then you don't know what to do. Rayun, I'm gonna have you take your turn real fast, and then we'll see where we go from here. Because then it's Sirius's turn.
I'll go ahead and start right here, and then tell Sirius a riddle.
Okay. What do you got?
What has business and also can't take a joke?
Okay. A lot of things have happened all at once, and we're going to process them as a batch. Because that's lovely. So here's what happens. You say this thing. I'm going to go so far for the sake of narrative and say that is a complex action. That is your whole turn.
Yep.
Is just like getting his attention, telling him this riddle. He has just taken 2 crossbow shots from Holden. And as he is like powering up with rage, you ask him that question, and all of that rage dissipates. And he looks at you and says, "A card."
Wrong.
Then what, mortal?
What is your name?
Sirius.
Does it make sense?
No.
Because you can have serious business. And being serious, you can't take jokes.
Fascinating. I think I preferred my answer.
But it was a good
interesting
try.
nonetheless. He leans in very close to you, Tyrus. Like, he's got a head that is about the size of your body, but not bothering to revive you or. Well, actually, no. Even better, for his action, he leans in very closely, whispers into, well, in the direction of your ear. Difficult to be precise when he could just eat you. And whispers in a language that you can't understand. Which is going to be... healing you for 6. All right, yeah. And he says, "What is your name, mortal?"
I'm gonna like sputter and be like, Tyrus.
Yes. I will know that name.
It's the name of the mortal who caused you pain.
Very well. You may take her. But know this. You are to take care of her. He actually leans in, like, and lifts one of those previously mauling you claws, placing his whole paw on your actually whole body. He's not putting a lot of pressure, but enough to get his point across. And says, I will be watching you. Tyrus.
I'm gonna take a long rest because I passed out.
Oh, I can heal you if we're done with combat. Or you can use hit die.
He stands back up, like all pressure off, regaining his regal composure. He mutters a couple words, and actually, I want to roll this for the sake of this. And adds a decent chunk of this to clear up, like the crossbow bolts just kind of fall out. Oh, why did I do that? Because now I have to do math. There we go. And he says, "You have done well enough. The way will be open." He breathes in deep, and when he, you know what? Before he breathes in deep, he will look at you, Holden, and give ever so curtly a respectful nod. Before breathing in deep and bellowing out, "Invokon." And you hear the rustling of pages, and the entire building seems to flicker in the already kind of dim light. When the lights restabilize, Sirius and the fairy fire that was attached to him are gone. And additionally, the barrier on the door completely vanishes. Sounds good. With Holden's help, Tyrus, you can get back on your feet. It's rough. You are still pretty banged up, but
Yeah, I'm pretty banged up.
I remember reading somewhere that until you're at like half health or so, you're probably just like taking grazing hits or like getting the wind knocked out of you. You did not take a grazing hit or get the wind knocked out of you. You got viciously mauled by a sphinx.
A 15-foot sphinx, if I
Yeah.
remember correctly.
Need some soup.
Yeah, you've got soups available. You also got hit dice available. And you absolutely can take a short rest or a long rest.
Should we find Andromeda first so that she stops terrorizing anybody that's
Yeah.
trapped in here with her?
That sounds probably good.
At least just
Sound
get
good.
yourself up high enough, and then we can. Or I'm
trying
gonna stand right here and just yell her name.
to find the soup again and see how much that costs.
Oh,
I
think
forgot what that does.
It's 3d8.
3d8. Okay.
Can I use? No, prestidigitation just makes stuff. Can I use anything to like amplify my voice? Do I have a spell that does that?
I don't know of a spell that does that. Oh shoot, I just broke that. Uh-oh.
I guess
Thaumaturgy.
technically. Yeah, thaumaturgy.
Oh.
Okay.
Tieflings have it. Are you a tiefling?
I don't have that.
So can I save this death save success for next time, or does it go away?
They all go away when you get healed.
Dang.
Hmm.
Just gonna bank that in there for next time.
Nah. If only you were that lucky.
I mean, I was pretty lucky. I didn't die for the Sphinx.
That's true. The timing on a couple of those things was pretty fortunate because I was ready to do some claw attacks on other people. And once again, natural one for initiative. So, Mira, you are at the door and appear to not have a great answer for amplifying your voice. What are you up to? Well, it seems like pretty much everybody else is healing.
I'm just gonna try to scream.
Well,
Andromeda.
you're first off, the name Andromeda echoes through these halls, which are otherwise fairly quiet now that the ruffling of that Invocon has passed. What the heck? On top of that, there it is. You do hear a muffled voice on the other side of the door. It's hard to make anything out. These are thick stone doors.
Let's get it open.
Unlike the previous door I was talking about that was magically super aged, this one does open fairly easily. Sliding into the wall and revealing a large stone chamber with a that I was going to start describing before realizing I also had to reveal it in the fog of war.
That's
And this
my bad.
time,
I thought that
I'm
I
gonna-
opened it before I screamed. This will probably be more effective.
yeah, yeah, you didn't actually open the door.
I thought you said that he opened the door for us, so I was like, "Oh, great. Okay. Well, then I'm just gonna
No,
follow
he
her
just-
if I don't see
He
her."
just broke the seal, is all.
Oh, okay.
So to describe this a little bit more than you just seeing a token, when you walk into the room, there are a number of stone pillars around the room, through which thick blue tendrils of magic are streaming. It looks like there is a person there that is supposed to be there, right? And you recognize her as the human that Guardian projects as. Fairly dark-skinned, tight black bun. And she seems to have things like mildly under control. The tendrils are wrapping around her, and she's doing her best to try and direct them like she's directing magical traffic. That is made more difficult by the very large Sphinx woman who is just floating in these tendrils and looks like she has been for quite some time. Like, she is floating like she is on the International Space Station for the first time. And those tendrils are spinning her and floating her up and down, to the point that it is sort of disingenuous that once again, I'm on the wrong tool. Is disingenuous that her token be straight up. Despite that, the fact that she is rather helter-skelter, the human opens her eyes as the door opens, and how magnificent. You've opened the door. That must mean the lockdown is over, yes?
Yes.
Thank you. The security system was put together ages ago, and I haven't been able to correct it from here. Thank goodness. I feel like I'm coming to rely on adventurers more and more each day. I have her token. I swear I do.
So these are two different people, right?
They're two different people. The human is the one that's talking currently. And... oh, no. This is the one where I went to get the token and then realized that all of my tokens got deleted because I wiped my hard drive.
Oh no.
So I temporarily don't have this token. I got backups. They're just hard to come by. So instead, I'm going to point everybody at their leisure to the All of the Beautiful People of Plenty book, that I have given to you guys.
Where to?
If you wouldn't mind, when you get the opportunity, checking. I'm stalling a little bit so that I can also go there. Checking on the section related to Library at Hand Wolin. Just so that there is a picture out there, and I will get a token up as quick as I can.
Got it. Oh, I like it.
She makes a few gestures, and the tendrils continue to wrap around her, but become less of like a traffic problem and more they wrap around her and she sits down like she is sitting in a chair. She looks like there's no disguising it. She is tremendously relieved. The tendrils also break their grasp on Andromeda, who less gracefully hits the ground.
Rude.
The library at hand says, "Forgive me, dear, but it's for the best. I wasn't sure how much longer I'd be able to control that. Not without sleep, anyway. Forgive me. I am the library at hand, Wolin, and I offer my thanks to you. This, I've come to learn, is Andromeda." And the Sphinx rights herself and immediately approaches the group, fairly excited. "Oh, I am so thankful. I was getting so dizzy. Thank you for the rescue. She's right. I am Andromeda. Oh, and you all smell of my father. He was here, wasn't he?"
Yeah, I shot him.
You... Oh. Wow. That's amazing. And you're still alive. For better or worse. Sorry. He spoke to you. What about?
We talked about you.
Right. My duty and responsibility. Will wait patiently while I finish typing.
Told him a riddle.
He must have liked the solution if he was willing to set me free.
He liked his answer better.
That's my experience with him. But I I appreciate it immensely. I hope that no one was hurt too badly.
Well,
No, I was fine. Everything's fine.
no one important.
Tyra, she smiles pretty deep at you and I have to admit, I didn't think anyone would come for us. So thank you. The librarian hand waves a bit and says, "You really need to come to trust adventurers, dear. I told you someone would come and save us." Andromeda says, "So what was the solution? What did you make a deal with him?" I see. Okay. That seems like a great plan. And I suppose the library will be happy to have things back to normal. Sorry, I'm still a bit shaken up and honestly still a little dizzy. Of course, I would love to travel with you. Thank you so much. She takes to flight and just enough to like bound up towards the doorway, and also shrinks down to a slightly more manageable size. The librarian, as Andromeda starts to signal that she's ready to go, says, "Before you leave, we both know how this works. I know fully well, adventurers, that you didn't come in here to save me. But you did do my librarian a great service. Is there anything I can do in return?"
You could tell us all that you know about Telemar.
I see. Would you believe if I told you that I have one book that talks in depth about Telemar and that it is currently checked out?
By whom, if I may ask?
A small owlin boy. I should say, I am not supposed to tell you this, librarian policy, but you were here in my time of need. Go to the Shrine of Telemar at the Temple of the Thousand Gods. I don't believe you will need to ask for him, But just in case, ask for my notes to be complete. What the heck? Where'd it go? Sorry, I've got 500 library books to get past. Right. Ask for Capon. Oh, and if he gives you any resistance, inform him that the book is overdue. Feel free to invoke that you are there on behalf of the librarian. He will not be able to resist you. I'm glad that I'm not on push to talk so you could hear that I got a good chuckle out of that. Yeah, my notes are just in shambles. What the heck? But yeah. She nods, maybe more to herself than anyone else, says, Capon has the book. I know he has the book. The librarian confirms that he still has possession. He will be able to help you. Is there anything else I can do for you?
Oh, your security is still up.
No, he disabled it for us so that we could go
Oh,
through.
disabled. Oh, okay.
Yep. I was like furiously looking around the map, like, wait, where is it? Where? Also, I have no idea on earth where Tyrus went.
He yeeted himself out of the game.
Okay, that's what I thought.
After the
and-
2 claw marks, yeah. Yeah, I
you
went
could- You can also tell where my mind went that the first thing I did was move Andromeda's token. Hold on, let's get
I
Tyrus
went
back.
to delete the smiley face I made. I just deleted my character instead.
Fantastic. I could think of no better way for that to go. So yeah, assuming that nobody has anything else, the librarian, honestly, like, rather pleasantly shakes hands with everybody, and even gives a friendly wave to Andromeda before returning to the platform that she was channeling on previously. And she starts working that magic again. Hopefully, maybe a little bit more stably. And I'm going to end the session there. I think that's a good ending point.
And now we have a Sphinx.
And now you have a Sphinx. The party has grown one larger.
Yes.
I already
I have responsibilities now.
You do have responsibilities now. I am so glad that this has come to pass, because Meg, you specifically did call this at some point in that conversation of, oh, this is why. And to peel the curtain back just a little bit, I was looking from the second from the second you guys walked into the library, I was like, I need something. There's going to be something that he does that, oh, he critically hit on the first shot. There it is.
Yep.
Couldn't have asked for it to go better.
Nailed it.
So yeah,
That was
We have-
excellent.
we are almost done with this arc. I have reason to believe we will end this section of the campaign in the next session.
Wow. Okay.
Thing is, you guys came here with one objective, invented 4 more, and have mostly completed them all. So, I mean, assuming that my tracker is correct, I can't think of more than like maybe 2 or 3 threads altogether that haven't been neatly tied up. I can't imagine that you leave with like massive cliffhangers with a whole nother session. That's where my head's at.
We still have a kid.
I mean, at this point you have 4?
We also have an oozing gem
Yeah,
Yep.
we do.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
a
we forgot to
flesh
ask
pouch.
librarian about that.
in a flesh sack.
I'll tell you what, if anybody's curious, you are free to DM me or leave it in D&D chat. If you would like to ask the librarian a question about the gem or something else, before you leave, we can just be like, hey, one last thing or something like that.
We probably should ask her, but then she will also know that we have it, and we would have
that's
kind
true.
of pillaged it from her librarian while it was not tended, and that seems
That's
odd.
also true.
First
Yeah.
off, I rescued it behind my cordoned off.
I'm sorry.
We can
you
just
did.
ask our
rescued
all-knowing
the treasure.
Sphinx. It's fine.
I
So,
like it.
with just to give everybody an idea of where my head's at, my expectation is we end this like massive arc in the next session. Subject to a little bit of flexibility, but generally, ooh. Sorry, that's a different ooh. We'll get to that in a minute. Then I could reasonably see the campaign ending in the next 8 sessions. Somewhere around there. I'm a little less sure of that, but like we're coming up on what could be roughly a final arc situation.
Ooh.